Was the purpose of the event that you attended, was that to synthesize ideas? It was a form of ideas?
It was a dialogue, yeah.
So, and that's what it was put forward as. Was it really a dialogue?
Hmm?
I mean, were there people from all different kinds of opinions there?
No. Most of them are people that I'm assuming had already been involved in the movement, but I don't think all of them were, and I was there, and I have been
And
involved
were
in it.
people there to find out a way forward, or just think about what?
So actually what it was for was to provide an opportunity to talk about the issues of race and class relative to Occupy.
Oh, that's,
And
that's
within
a
the
great
Occupy
goal.
movement was to say, and I think we could do the same thing, ours would be the exact same thing, is I think the issues of human rights are getting lost in various parts of the message about Occupy, whether it's their message or the message being brought forth by the city or the media. There are very real, just like Donita was talking about, there are very real human rights issues that are lost in the TV coverage of riot gear and tear gas. That's the way I think about it. It's how can we as a commission elevate the issues of human rights above riot gear and tear gas? Because that's what, and park damage. Because the things that are going on are very real human rights issues. And that's what our forum would be, is, okay, well, let's not talk about the police, and unless it's talking about police and human rights, and tear gas and all that, it's homelessness, it's mental illness, right? There was so much talk about the camp turning into, it's 80% mentally ill people and homeless people.
and
Well, that's because they're on the streets. That's a human rights issue. It's not the reason we kick them out. This is an issue that we need to actually pay
But that
attention
wasn't initially the reason why.
Right. That's right. And there are socioeconomic issues related to the 99% that are related to discrimination, long-term discrimination, housing discrimination, that aren't being brought forth.
What if, I'm sitting here listening to this and I'm thinking about the McKenzie River thing, what if, and I didn't hear any resistance to being a sponsor of Race Talks, what if this discussion was had under the auspice of Race Talks,
I was gonna suggest that.
and then it was, and the discussion, rather than having a panel, take the whole 2 hours and meet in the facilitated talk groups and have basic topics, and then everyone in the group come up with suggestions. What are the issues? What are suggestions for these issues? And then the Human Rights Commission put that information together and present it to the city council.
Donna, I was going to suggest that we combine this with Race Talks.
So would we do it in January or February then?
Well, January is already
February.
planned. February would be when we do it.
I don't think it's too late to keep talking about Occupy.
January is Native Americans.
I love it, and I love that we could ask us to be to be listening, facilitating, writing down, and
And then bring
then
it
we'll bring forward what we learn.
Yeah, because all we were wanting to do is gather information, and we've already got a format there, and by having we can put together, we can contact some of the groups that are the main groups that are already meeting, and have them give us some topics to kind of form a conversation around. And then from that, give us a loose agenda, and from that, get the folks in the little groups to sit down and talk about it.
The one thing is, and I know you can do this, which would be to not lose sight of the name of this event, which is Race Talks, and we need to have that race focus.
How about race against poverty?
race?
Race against all of us being in the park.
Yeah.
No, I think that, I don't think that, well, we did the Williams Avenue,
Right. Well,
Meeting.
that was perfect.
and that was part of the black community, and we could even put it under, the auspices of the communities of color and the Occupy movement,
All right, I
and
think that's important.
uniting with the Occupy movement, or, you know, we can come up with some kind of
Right.
title for it that will
Yeah.
say, we're trying to get people of color and the people who are in the Occupy movement, because there are people of color in that too,
Yeah.
to tell what their issues are, so that the real 99% are united in giving the voice.
I have to say, I'm way over here, you all were here, but I, being late, was able to listen to the radio, and I was listening to Newt Gingrich. And he was talking about, you all have probably heard this before, but I had not. He had said that poor children should work as janitors in their schools because they don't have any role models for people who get up and go to work on Monday morning. This is what he said. This is a person who's running for President of the United States.
And they're talking about who's gonna be the front runner now.
And for me, that is, those comments are the epitome of what the Occupy movement, which, because he's representing the 1%,
Yeah.
the Occupy movement coming together with issues of race in our world.
So will you move that forward, Donna? And
Yes.
so if that is February, then yes, I agree with you. I don't think you would hear an objection from this group to us somehow sponsoring or bringing our name forward as part of that. And
Is it appropriate to know that we do sponsor it?
Should we do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yes.
go for it, Malloy.
Well, I move that we co-sponsor the Race Talks for February.
Right.
I said, oh, you can
Discussion?
let's do it.
Question, so this is mean in late spring that we can also go out to East County and do the same for, Tea Party?
Well, if I would, Damon, I would not mind having a discussion about the Tea Party and how its views affect issues of race and equity. Frankly.
I mean, I was being, somewhat jokish, but,
The word's facetious.
Facetious.
We'll take it.
I like jokish.
made that one. But there was some, underlying,
Be facetious.
there's a point there though, that, in terms of advisory commission, where does the line in terms of where we can go politically? That is something that I was thinking about when we were talking about this in terms of, I know that Portland likes to think of itself as a progressive city, but, that this particular issue, people are in different places, and in the CPRC, it's come up,
Sure.
because of, police officers' thoughts on it, and so, just wondering if we are able to facilitate something like that, and if we need to have equal time kind of thing.
When the Tea Party gets out there and get their head knocked by the police, we'll probably be having a meeting to discuss what their issues are too.
I don't know that they've got equal time.
Did you get that?
We're not the other, we're not KGW or anybody like that. They don't even have to do equal time, so.
And again, I think we want to, our focus, I think we should figure out what our specific focus is, but to me, it's what are the underlying human rights issues that are
Being brought forward.
that are being overshadowed by what we see on TV, but are creating this movement. There are human rights issues that are motivating what we're seeing happening.
Well, it's not
That's,
just-
how do we lift those up above? the other
I don't
issues?
think
We're not
we're holding
focusing-
this.
We're not focusing on political aspects.
Well, we're not endorsing,
Right, human rights issues.
we're not endorsing
Human
anybody
rights
here.
But I agree with you, David, because one of those issues might be about the police. So we need to understand our relationship with CPRC and what might get brought forth about the police.
If
Well,
we
what
have
about
an event
inviting
and people say things,
Yeah,
we hear what they say and we synthesize what we've heard. Doesn't mean we have to,
We're not making a judgment, we're
Yeah.
just gathering information to pass along to.
But the information might be one-sided in an environment like that, where we don't, for instance, invite the police.
Well, we could invite.
This is open to the public and the
Yeah,
police can be a
anyone can
part
do
of
it.
it.
But
And-
it's about the way we put it together.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So
It's one
we
thing to
have
say it's open to the public and invite the Occupy people and not the police.
No, but I mean.
You know,
Oh,
that's
as
not
a
the same.
panel.
Yeah.
Or
So-
just, go ahead.
So, we should ask Hector to put this on the agenda for the CPRC meeting this month, if we have any.
I'd
I'm
really
not
like,
sure what,
I
I think they should be aware of it and understand, I think that at minimum, the CPRC should understand what our intent is in doing this work. But again, with the understanding that a piece of it that might come forward is what has been viewed as the behavior of the police and how does that affect our relationship that's being built at CPRC.
well, and I think there are various views on that, and depending on where you were and what you were doing.
And that consideration will be there when we bring forward our positions to city council also, I think needs to be there because we have a relationship there that,
I have to say, I was listening to the news one night and heard Nick Fish talk for like 1 minute on KGW, I think it was. And he was good, and he was listening, and he was synthesizing, and, you know, I would reach out to him, maybe get him to be a panel.
and Commissioner Fritz has been a supporter of.
But I'm not saying, I'm saying, let's not have any panel.
No panelists, just a
Okay.
conversation.
I'm just saying, just have a conversation.
With-
The speech yesterday, I support her.
Well, so with questions or something.
Yeah, just have a discussion, and we synthesize, we're not coming there to present any information. The only presentation that needs to be done is to present, this is the format of how this is gonna operate for the next 2 hours, and just and we're here to hear what you have to say, and kind of give some guidelines for talking points.
Can we take this on to organize the aspects of it and bring it back and report the progress at next month's meeting?
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have a meeting. Good idea.
Okay, that's a good place for the race talks to pull it in.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you. Good idea.
Okay, so, but we have a motion on the floor for us to add our name as a sponsor to Race Talks for February that will be on the Occupy movement
And its relation to human rights.
and its relation to human rights. And, is there a second? Somebody second? Emily
Donnie,
Second.
Donnie, second, we had some discussion, all right. All in favor of the motion by show of hands and all ayes?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you. What happened?
She just asked me a smart ass question.
Duly
You
noted,
know what the
duly
best-
noted.
You know what the best thing about doing this is? There's gonna be beer. I always enjoy that.
Oh.
I mean, there's only beer if
For
you
us?
buy it, but,
Y'all the Cuban change that.